Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 1069, 1069, Wednesday, March the 11th, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, of course it is Wednesday, and you know what happens on Wednesdays. Of course, that's the day that I take out the trash and have some chicken. And later this evening, I'll be having some chicken. Haven't decided what type of chicken, but it will be chicken. And I will be taking out the trash. So, let's get on to the news of the day. First, before I get any farther into today's video, I want to stress a point, which is, especially for those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, when I started this YouTube channel, it was to follow the Spygate story, the attempted coup of President Trump. That's what this channel is all about. Always has been. That's the reason I started this channel, to follow the Spygate story. But I have to tell you that, and we had a lot of time. If you go back, if you look at my timeline, or if you look at old TowerGate videos, there was a period of time where we were just getting avalanches of information that were coming out as this whole thing was unraveling. We had a lot of stuff coming out as a result of leaks from the Mueller investigation. We've had a lot of things come out, and we know a lot of things today that we didn't know a year ago, the year before that, or the year before that. So there has been a lot of information that's come out. But it seems like since the IG report came out just this past fall, when I think it was beginning of December, I think. And since that time, and right after the IG report comes out, then the spokeswoman for the DOJ comes out and announces that the Durham investigation is now a criminal investigation. And I can tell you that since that time, getting information about what's going on with the Durham investigation or anything else surrounding that, it has been absolutely impossible to get information. Durham came out after the IG report came out, shortly after, within like a half an hour, and said he disagreed with Horowitz's conclusion that the investigation, the Operation Crossfire Hurricane, was properly predicated. Durham came out and made a statement that he disagreed with Horowitz on that. But other than that, there is nothing coming out of the Durham investigation. It is absolutely airtight. I don't know how in the world he's able to do this with the number of people he's got on his staff. And a lot of these people are FBI, DOJ people, things like that. How he is able to keep such a lid on this investigation is just extraordinary, because there is no leaks coming out of Durham. None. The only thing we hear is that when reporters learn that he's traveled to Italy, or he's traveled to the UK, or he's talked to people in Australia or something like that, or that he's investigating Brennan, requesting documents. But these are things that are coming out of reporting. They're not coming out of Durham or his investigation. He comments on nothing. Dude runs an airtight investigation. I got to say, I've never seen anything quite like it. You always get leaks, but not with Durham. There is no leaks. Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's told everyone that works on his investigation that if he finds that there's a leak, when he finds out who leaked it, you not only get kicked off the investigation, he'll probably prosecute you for leaking classified information. So he's obviously put some very serious rules in place, because there ain't nothing coming out of the Durham investigation. Despite all that, every single day, my top priority is Spygate News. And I spend probably an hour and a half to 2 hours every day just digging for anything I can find on what's going on with the investigation. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there, but I try to put things into my timeline and into my videos which are fairly well backed up by mainstream news sources or reporters I follow. Paul Sperry, John Solomon, Sarah Carter, Bongino has some obviously put out some good information. So Lee Smith. So there are people that I follow very closely, Technofog, people like that, Conservative Treehouse. So there are people I follow very closely as I've been working through this story right along with every one of you and all of my fellow YouTubers who are following this story, doing the best job we can. The fact of the matter is, there's a lot of theory and speculation out there, but, I try to be very careful about the things. I don't just want to throw a whole bunch of stuff out there. Particularly, I don't want to screw up my timeline. I want my timeline at some point to be something I can go back and see things that were reported to be facts and not speculation. I don't want a bunch of speculation. for two reasons. Number one, I don't want my timeline polluted. Number two, my timeline already takes over 5 hours to read. I don't want to pollute it and lengthen it with a bunch of... If I just want to do accusations and theories, my timeline would be 10 times as long as it is. I try to wait for something to be proven as a fact before I put it in my timeline, and my timeline works with my videos. So I try to keep it as much as possible fact-based. Now, if I hear something or some speculation, I'll tell you, but I'll tell you it's speculation, not yet known for sure if it's true. So, but in my timeline, I don't do that. I don't report it in my timeline until it's actually a proven fact. So this is the thing you got to keep in mind, that as I'm following this story, I'm trying to, it doesn't do me any good to talk about things that may not be true or may not even pan out. So I try to stay on what's really important and what can be proven as true. And I do spend a lot of time every day focused primarily on everything that's going on with Spygate. And it's just right now, since Durham became a criminal investigation, it's like breadcrumbs. I mean, we literally get a few little breadcrumbs here and there. There has been no great avalanche of information since this investigation became a criminal investigation, the way it was back at the end of the year or the year before that, when we would just get tons of information coming out everywhere every day. So we still get Judicial Watch sometimes. They still have requests for FOIA requests in. So does John Solomon. So they'll occasionally get some more Strzok and Page text, or they'll get some things that will give us a few breadcrumbs. But as far as major developments since Durham's investigation became a criminal investigation, man, it just ain't happening. That is one airtight investigation. So I just want you to know that when I come to do my Spygate videos every day, if there is some really important news about any new development in Spygate, it will be in the video and in my timeline. But the fact of the matter is, there just isn't much out there. Now, at the same time, we're in the middle of a presidential year. So we have primaries going on, and then we're going to have the general election. So obviously, that's going to fill up the time. If I don't have Spygate things to talk about, then obviously I'm going to go to the next most important issue, and that's talking about what's going on with the elections and things like that. So, but believe me, if I had a half hour of material to talk about Spygate things, that's what I'd be talking about. It just isn't there right now. But I'll continue to work on it every day, and when there's information out there, we'll get it. In the meantime, I'm filling the most of the time with political stuff. But, a lot of people are interested in and are following the general election. So, and I'm doing that as well. So that's just so you know, that's how my videos are being formulated every day. It's Spygate first, and then when there's nothing really there or whatever I've covered I've covered, at that point then I move on to the next most important topic, which is what's going on with the election. Because quite honestly, that's very important, because if the election doesn't turn out right, absolutely all investigations into the so-called investigators, that all goes away. So it's critically important, I think, on both fronts. And we can have a little bit of fun with the politics in the meantime, right? But Spygate is my top priority. Now, let's move on to, and again, today there's really not much at all to report on Spygate. Just nothing really out there that's substantive or that can be proven. So, just really not much going on. But there is a lot of other things going on. So, let's go ahead and talk about those things, unless you're here simply for Spygate. If you're here for Spygate, then not much to talk about today. But let's go ahead with what we have here for today. Well, as most of you know, Burisma Joe made an appearance yesterday at an auto plant that's being built in Michigan. And at that, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what it was, just a visit. At that visit, Biden told an auto worker auto worker was telling Biden that he was trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take our guns away. And of course, Biden's response was completely unhinged. Biden told him that he's full of shit. He also called this auto worker a horse's ass. He then told his assistant, who was trying to calm him down, Biden tells his female handler or campaign advisor or whatever her position is, told her to told her to shush. And he also talked about an AR-14, which I understand there actually is something called an AR-14, but it's nothing like what we would be referring to. In fact, Biden meant AR-15 and admitted he misspoke when he said AR-14 when he meant AR-15. He even suggested at one point during this confrontation with this auto worker that they should take it outside. What, challenging to a push-up contest? I'm not sure. But a 77-year-old man or 78-year-old man, how old Biden is, challenge a relatively young auto worker to a fight outside probably wouldn't go well for Burisma Joe. Afterwards, Biden is then confronted by a reporter who asked Biden about his comments, and of course Biden defended his actions by saying that he did not regret what he said. And then he tried to turn it on Commie Bernie by saying, well, I'm surprised that Sanders is joining Trump. Now, I doubt this guy was a Sanders supporter, probably a Trump supporter. And then, of course, we had CNN and MSNBC, literally, and even a campaign person for Biden saying, hey, this is great. We're going to promote this video ourselves. We think this shows Joe looking great. And they're over on MSNBC and CNN saying, well, that makes Joe look tough. He's a straight talker. That's the Joe Biden we know and love. Yeah, he's taking it to the guy. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this in my life, man. These people are missing it so much. I think I know where this is coming from. I think Biden and maybe people around him have watched Trump over the last 3 years, and they say, well, look, Trump won, and look what he does. He goes after people. He's tough. He's a straight talker. He uses plain speak that people understand. He criticizes people. He hammers people. He goes after people and all this sort of thing. And so they think that this is what Trump does, and therefore they think that if Biden does it too, he'll come off looking like Trump. But it doesn't work. And here's the main reason it doesn't work. If you look at Trump, the people that Trump goes after and attacks are the elitist. He attacks the corporate media. He attacks Hollywood leftists, famous, rich Hollywood leftist liberals. That's who he attacks. Trump does not attack ordinary, rank-and-file, working-class Americans. He attacks the elitist. But in the case of Biden, look who he's always attacking. He's always attacking actual, ordinary people, middle-class, working-class people at his rallies. He attacks working-class, ordinary people. Trump attacks these so-called elitist, Hollywood leftist, media types. Trump goes after the establishment. Biden goes after the people. This is why this strategy is doomed to fail. And this was a major gaffe. And I don't know, maybe Biden's campaign thinks this will help him, but I don't think it looked very good to me. It looked pretty bad to me. It's not how a politician is supposed to respond to someone who takes issue. See, that's an opportunity for a politician to turn somebody. You say, okay, well, I understand your concern about the Second Amendment, but let me explain my position and why. And then you try to, bring them in. What you don't do is call them, a name. You don't call them, tell them they're full of shit. You don't call them a jackass. You don't threaten to take them out back for a fight. This is just incredible. But here's the irony of this whole thing. Biden is in a auto plant that's currently being built in Michigan. Now, why would you want to send Burisma Joe, first of all, to Michigan, a place like this where there are blue-collar auto workers, a place where these types of people, Michigan blue-collar people, are the heartland of America. These are the tough people of America. They call them the Wolverines for a reason. I know, I'm from Ohio. Michigan is our rivalry. We love our rivalry because they are tough people, and so are we. And we like it when two tough people get together and scrap. It's what we do, right? We love to hunt. We love to fish. We like our guns. We don't take a lot of shit from liberals. That's what we have in common, and that's why even though we're rivals with people from Michigan, when I meet people from Michigan, I love them. I don't love them on the day that Ohio State's playing Michigan, but I do love them every other day of the week because they're like us. We're sort of brothers, blood brothers. We're the same type of people. You go to the suburbs, you go out into the country in Michigan, you'll find the same type of people you find in Ohio, in the same types of places. We're very similar, and that's why we're such big rivalries, but at the end of the day, we play on the same team. Other than that one day a week when Ohio State plays Michigan. Then we're enemies. But 364 days out of the year, we're blood brothers, right? So I know what type of people Michigan people are. And so these are tough people. And if you're going to send a crazy man like Biden into a auto plant that's currently being built. And keep this in mind. Why is this auto plant being built? This auto plant's being built because of Trump's trade policies. Remember, it was Burisma Joe who was all for NAFTA, which is what gutted the auto industry and auto plants in Michigan, along with a lot of good-paying jobs. Now, these people in this auto plant that's currently being built because of Trump get Biden coming in. And he knows that Biden wants to take away their guns. And why do we know that? Because he just brought the skateboarder Bobby O up on stage down at a rally in Texas and said, "This is going to be my point man on gun control reform," or what have you. I mean, if your point man is Beto, you're coming for the guns, brother. And Biden said he's coming for the guns. So he lied to this guy. This guy was calling him out. And this auto worker was correct. Biden was wrong. And he called him out on it. And Biden got frustrated and did what he normally does when he gets frustrated. He lashed out at this guy, which is something you don't do to people whose votes you're trying to get. So here's Biden in an auto plant that's being built because of Trump, that used to be there and then went away because of Biden. You got Biden, who's opposed to the Second Amendment. He has nothing in common with these people, these blue-collar, working-class people that he's there to visit. He should never have gone there. There was nothing in it for Burisma Joe. These are not his people. These are not his folks, believe me. Those people in that video that you see where Biden was at this auto plant, those are Trump supporters. I can just about guarantee you, those are Trump supporters, not Biden supporters and not Democrats. And so, I mean, this is gonna fail miserably for Biden. And you know, again, when people are getting dementia and they're losing their mind, they get agitated very easily. And this is what you see with Biden. He's lashed out, called the one girl there in Iowa a horse-faced pony something or other. I mean, this guy lashes out at ordinary people. The very voters that he's supposed to be trying to cultivate is the very people he's disrespecting and disparaging. I mean, that's what he did to this guy, disrespected and disparaged him, along with a whole group of other auto workers standing around him. These people are quite aware of what they're experiencing. And so if the purpose was to send Joe to this auto plant to try to pick up a few votes, I don't think he got any. Now, those people are Trump supporters, so they're not going to be voting for Biden or for Commie Bernie. I imagine Trump's numbers in the Michigan vote will be very, very high, as they have been in every other state. And, of course, Trump's going to win Michigan anyway. So, anyway, just another disaster by Burisma Joe. I mean, what can you say? I mean, the guy's losing his mind. And anyone who looks at that and tries to spin it like they did on MSNBC or CNN or in the Biden campaign is some sort of a positive, trying to compare it to the way Trump goes after people. Trump doesn't go after ordinary working class people. He goes after the elite, so-called elite establishment. That is the difference. So this was a bad campaign strategy. They never should have sent Biden to a place like that, knowing what he was going to run into. Why in the world they thought he was going to find supporters there, I don't know. But it did not work out. And it appears also that Biden's illness may even be contagious. Yes, it may be contagious because he's at another event and this woman goes up to introduce Biden, and at the event she introduces Biden as our next vice president. Our next vice president. Yep. So maybe this Biden's illness is contagious. It's probably more contagious than the coronavirus. I don't know. We'll have to watch and see. It's a pretty close call right now. In other news, we have a judges ruling 2-1, two Obama judges ruling against one Trump-appointed judge that the House Democrats can have access to the grand jury material in the Mueller report. Of course, what's going to happen as a result of this? Well, what's going to happen is it's going to go to the Supreme Court, where it's going to be shot down by the Supreme Court. They're not going to allow the Congress to look into grand jury material, especially when it has to do with the case that's already been decided. That is Trump's impeachment. Trump's already been exonerated. It's over. So there's no reason to look at the grand jury material. That's obvious. Okay? And that's what the Supreme Court's going to rule. But they could even just rule on the very fact that they simply do not release grand jury information. It's been a long-standing rule. They're not going to overturn it just so the Penguin and Adam the Bug-Eyed Fool Schiff and Madame Botox can have a little fun kicking the Trumpster around for a few more months. It's not going to happen. It's going to lose in the Supreme Court, and I wouldn't doubt but what it'll be probably a close to a majority decision. Of course, Sotomayor will vote against it, but Ginsburg might even vote with the conservatives on this one because it's so obvious. But anyway, I wouldn't worry about this judge's ruling. The Penguin ain't going to see shit. He's not going to see shit about grand jury information. Not going to happen. It'll go to the Supreme Court, and there it will be. They'll lose again in the Supreme Court. And it shouldn't surprise us that the two Obama judges completely disregard the facts, the law, and just the general standing of this rule. I mean, it's just amazing. The courts are a mess because Obama appointed a bunch of radical activists posing as judges, and hopefully, after Trump completes his full 8 years, we can hopefully improve that a great deal. It's already happening. Yes, and then we get this story yesterday, Biden now talking about who he would appoint in his administration. And I don't know this has got to be Obama people behind this. It's got to be. Because he drops names like John F. and Kerry, who, by the way, served in Vietnam, Susan Rice, Michael Bloomberg, Silly Sally Yates, and Jamie Dimon. I mean, if you want the progressives to stay home for sure, you drop names like this. I mean, the Biden campaign is so out of touch with reality. It's almost like they're trying to rerun the Obama campaign, but they must have in their minds that America looks on Obama as like he was some sort of a great, like he was like the Messiah or something. But he wasn't. Remember, he had a huge loss and a huge defeat in his first midterm because they tried to jam Obama. Well, they did jam Obamacare down our throat. Obamacare cost him control of the Congress. He never left office with high approval ratings, and they're falling all the time. Conservatives didn't like him. Independents, or by the end of his 8 years, didn't care that much for him. And progressives hate him. Progressives don't like Obama. So exactly what are they trying to reconstruct here? And that's not a winning strategy. It's not. But I guess it's all they've got. And of course, Obama's people probably running that little plan right there. But they're going to clash with the Rotten Reverends people. So, man, there's a lot of problems coming down the road for these people. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable that they're that. I mean, what are they trying to do right now? They're trying to unify the Democratic Party. What does that mean? That means that the establishment is going to jam Biden down everybody's throats, and then they're going to want the left, the progressives, to come out and support that ticket. Well, you're not going to have progressives come out and support the ticket when you go out and announce that you're going to load up your administration with John F. and Kerry, Susan Rice, Bloomberg, Yates, and Jamie Dimon. I mean, these people are nuts, and they're stupid. On top of that, that's dangerous. It's one thing that they're nuts, but it's another thing that they're stupid and nuts. That's dangerous. Well, we have speaking of John F. and Kerry, who, by the way, served in Vietnam. He was campaigning for Biden, I believe, in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And he was with one of Biden's brothers, his brother Frank, and who was also a grifter. And, of course, Kerry told the room full of demo commies that a year from now, Trump will be worried about going to the big house. Worried about going to the big house. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Trump's going to be staying in the White House, and it's a bunch of your friends, and possibly even you, John F. and Kerry, who is going to be going to the big house. Stay tuned for that one. Now, it looks like the House Rules Committee has drafted a bill behind closed doors, which is the only way we thought this would ever happen, to reauthorize the FISA, and they're going to have a vote on Thursday. So I'm not sure the details of what is in this, but I don't like it. I don't like it because it was done in secret with no debate. They didn't come out and have a press conference and tell us what changes they've made. They're trying to do it very quietly in the cloaked rooms, smoke-filled rooms, and then they're going to try to have a quick little quiet vote on Thursday and ram it through anyway. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people watching this issue. A lot of people watching this issue. And we're going to find out who it was who signed on to this garbage if they pass this. Because you can bet it's not going to fix anything. Anything. And besides, as I've said many times, and other people have said, what difference does it make if you just create more rules? If, in fact, when people violate the rules, nothing happens to them. Why should you follow rules? I mean, if there were no penalties for robbing a bank, why would people quit robbing banks? Well, they wouldn't. Now, we have a few minutes left. As I'm coming to you now, it's about 20 minutes after 8 Eastern Standard Time. The polls are closed, and we are getting some information. Now, of course, the western state, the big state out on the West Coast, Washington, that's 3 hours behind, so we won't hear about that till much later in the evening. But we're already getting some early returns, and it looks like at this time, Burisma Joe is going to win Mississippi. He's going to win Missouri, and that's a state that some people thought Sanders had a shot at, but it looks like it's going Biden. So it's going to go Mississippi and Missouri already in the Biden column, and it looks like Biden is winning in Michigan. He is winning in Michigan. If Biden, like I said last night, if Biden wins Michigan, it's pretty much over in terms of delegates for Bernie. Now, he might still win Washington, but he would have to win very, very, very big, and I don't think he's going to. And even if he finishes strong in Michigan, it's a split in delegates. Bernie needed a big win in Michigan and a big win in Washington. He really needed to have a big win in those two places to get him caught up in delegates, because he's currently behind around 67 or so delegates. So he needed a big win, because the rest of the map for the rest of the night favors Biden. And, of course, next week favors Biden even more. So, or the 27th. Excuse me. It doesn't help when Commie Bernie is out at a rally and he's asked about the border, closing the border, and he says that he would not close the border as a national emergency in response to coronavirus or any other type of virus or something like that, an outbreak, a pandemic or anything else. Bernie says he would not close the border because it looks too much like what Trump would do, which is xenophobic. Now, see, this is just stupid. You know, Bernie has made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. That Castro comment, knowing good and well how important Florida was a very stupid comment. Can't believe he made it. Then he came back and doubled down on it. He can't explain how he's going to pay for any of the things he wants to do. He's flipped his position on trade. He's flipped his position on immigration. I mean, every possible tactical mistake that Bernie could make, he has made. And that's why he's doing poorer than he did against the rotten Reverend Clinton, even though he's going up against someone who's senile. Bernie should be kicking the crap out of Biden, to be honest with you. And he refuses to grow a backbone and take on Biden. Do you think if the Democrats had a Burisma-type scandal on Bernie, that they wouldn't be talking about it 24 hours a day, including Biden himself and the DNC? They'd never shut up about it. But Bernie continues to know Biden's a good guy. He's my friend. I like Joe Biden. Blah, blah, blah. You know, and won't touch his corruption. That's where you hit him. That's his soft underbelly. And Bernie simply will not hit him there. It's remarkable. I don't think he understands the game he's in or the stakes, or he just doesn't give a shit. Again, Bernie's probably just in this thing for his retirement plan. Probably knew he would never get the nomination to begin with. Knew he could never win in a national election. He just cashing in. And he believes that all these young people are going to come out and save the day for him, when we know that they just don't vote. About 10% of young people come out and vote, 18 to 25. They are not the group of people that comes out and votes en masse. They are the people that come out and vote the least. They're not going to save you. They like to go to rallies because they probably think they're going to smoke some weed and drink some beer and listen to some music and have a party and meet some chicks. But when it's time to vote, they can't get their ass out of bed and make it to the polling locations. It's a fact. It's been the fact for a very, very long time. These people just don't vote. They party and dream. That's all it is. Parties and dreams. It's not the reality. But as weak as the field was, Bernie did have a shot. But he has made every tactical mistake he could possibly make. And he refuses to hit Biden at his most vulnerable point in the soft underbelly. And that's his corruption. It's just extraordinary. And if you're a Bernie fan, I mean, you got to be pulling your hair out. Because the Bernie fans have to see this. They got to be, every time he compliments Biden, they got to be pulling their hair out. Every time he doesn't hit Biden on his corruption, they got to be freaking out. I can't explain it. Trump's going to hit him. I guarantee you Trump's going to hit Biden on every bit of it. And Bernie supporters will be sitting back and watching Trump do it, and I'm going, damn, if Bernie would have done that, he would have been the nominee. Maybe. I don't know for sure, but he'd have a hell of a lot better shot than the approach he's taking now. But here's my advice to Bernie. It looks like you're going to get your ass kicked again tonight like you did on Super Tuesday. You may not even win Washington. Right now, they got a poll out there. I just looked at the aggregate poll showing Biden up by 2 in Washington. So but then again, the polls could be wrong. It happened last year where they had, Hillary up by 20. Or no, up by 2. And I think it was Michigan. They had Hillary up by 2 and Bernie won by 20. So these polls could be wrong, but I think they're probably more accurate this time around. He might win Washington, but if you don't win Michigan, he can win Washington. But if he doesn't win Michigan and win it handily, it's basically over in terms of the delegate count. Bernie will never catch Biden in the delegate count, but neither will have enough delegates to have the majority when they arrive at the convention if Bernie stays in. If he can stay in and just do well enough to take votes away from Biden, he will deprive him of the amount of votes he needs to be to close the deal before they get to the convention. And this is my advice to Bernie. Here it is, Bernie. I'm not going to tell you to change your tactics or your strategy because you're not going to do it. But I will say this. You're going to get your ass kicked probably tonight, like you did on Super Tuesday, and you're going to get your ass kicked even worse in 2 weeks. Stay in the race. Stay until the end and take as many delegates as you can and deprive Burisma Joe of the delegates he needs. And why is that? Because Burisma Joe has to go another 4 months without taking himself out. And all you have to do is watch that video from Michigan yesterday with the auto workers, and you can see that Biden is no way that this guy is going to go another 4 months without taking himself out. No matter how hard the DNC tries to hide him, no matter how much the left-wing media tries to cover for him, there's no way. When you're running for president, you've got to be out there. You've got to be meeting people and talking to people. And Biden simply is nuts. He gets, if someone disagrees with him, he gets agitated. And there will be plants, people purposely put into the crowd to go ask Biden questions to trigger him, to make him do this kind of stuff. There'll be Bernie supporters out there, or Trump supporters out there, who are going to challenge Biden on his positions, on NAFTA, on immigration, on the Second Amendment, on all these issues. And he's going to get agitated, he's going to get irritated, and he's going to make mistakes, big mistakes. And it's just a matter of time over the next 4 months before Biden is going to make the crucial mistake. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's going to do something that is going to, or it may just be the cumulative effect of all of his, these aren't gaffes. These are huge mental failings. It's just a matter of time. Now, I still think that they'll cheat Bernie at the convention, but you want to put the DNC into the position where you arrive at the convention and they realize, because of Biden's mental failings and some major no-no that he just committed, that they simply can't put him on the ballot. And if you're Bernie, you can say, well, I was the next guy in line. It'll force the DNC to leapfrog over Bernie to get to the Right Reverend Clinton or someone else. Maybe they'll go back to one of the other candidates that were in the field, a Buttigieg or Warren or someone like that. But they're going to be forced to leapfrog over Bernie. And this will cause major all hell to break loose. So my advice to Bernie is, you're probably going to get your ass kicked in delegates. Stay in the fight anyway and keep depriving Biden of what he needs to clinch it. And then force them to take it away from you at the convention by leapfrogging over you. Because I think the chances of Biden being able to last another 4 months without taking himself out, I would say, is 10% or less. Stay in the fight, Bernie, because Biden will take himself out. That's what I think. You guys have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. See ya. Bye.